It's moving vlog time, at least one of them. Hey, Nick's mic'd up.
Oh no.
Turn the camera around. Look,
oh no, they want to see this. Look at this.
Okay, so construction is done.
Ish.
But I have to pay for it, so we'll be right back. The Q60 thick CPU cooler from Height features a hinged 5-inch ultra slim IPS 720 by 1280 display, a 60 Hz refresh rate, and 300 nit brightness, offering unique customization for your build. The Q60 also features Height's revolutionary digital hardware interface, Nexus Link, for sequential lighting and cooling control, with both thermal and positioning sensor data using a single cable, and supports up to 34 devices and 2 channels with Nexus Link amp scale. With the 53mm thick 240 radiator with 32mm thick FP12 fans, keep your CPU nice and cool for those long gaming sessions. To see the full list of features, specs, and supported CPU sockets, follow the sponsored link in the description below. I want to take you guys for a tour of the way it looks now with the painted walls and the new room and the AC and all the new lights and all that crap. And it doesn't look like a complete 1987-esque looking thing. Anyway, so this is the warehouse now. You can see we've got some stuff moved. I say we. Nick has done most of this moving so far because I've had to continue to try and make content and have meetings in the meantime. So let's do this. Let's go take a tour of the way it looks now, and then we're gonna maybe do some network testing today, because that's like very important. Next week we have the internet going in, and I need to make sure that when we set up our desks and stuff, we have to set up like Phil's editing station, our server, and then some sort of a set that we can work in to get like basic needs met, while also trying to deal with all the rest of this crap. Check it out, warehouse. So, okay, obviously you can see our build out is done right there. We started putting up some racks. So all of our computer cases and big stuff is gonna go out here. Fun fact, so our other unit used to get terribly dirty. And then we're like, wait a minute, this roll-up door has a weather seal on it. Ours doesn't. So I was talking to the previous guy that was here, and he was like, yeah, we never had dirt blowing in here. So maybe this stuff won't get covered in 6 inches of filth. Actually, you did dust some of this off even. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be fine. You can see I got some green tape on the floor right here. 10 feet by 10 feet's marked out. I might go a little bigger than that now. This is gonna be the, we're going to pump you up here. We're going to inflate you to deflate you. So this is just where there's plenty of time. Like I've lost 34 pounds already this summer alone, so I'm okay with that, but I do enjoy lifting, and it's nice to just be like, I need to blow off some steam, come out here and have an area to do that. Dirty shop over here. Like I talked about, this is where we're gonna have a couple of workbenches set up so that we can have 3D printers out here. Nick and I are gonna try and DIY some sort of an enclosure stack for our 3D printers, so they can be out here making noise, but not be affected too much by the ambient temp, which can be very hot or very cold. At least it'll contain its own heat in there and be more consistent that way. So.
I think temporarily for now, maybe we just keep that same L shape that we have right now. Just put stuff in here until we figure out the DIY method.
The L shape we have now, like the
exact desk setup that we have right now for our 3D print area.
Oh yeah, well that's sitting height. I was debating putting the husky ones from our shop now. Oh. I was debating putting those out here because they're more stand height. Like I wanted this to be a standing workshop. I also want to get a small kitchen island type workbench thing that's on casters out here so I can roll it around as needed. So the idea is out here, if I'm cutting or grinding on metal or whatever, I said this already, I'm not getting shavings and crap in our carpet in there. Nick knows how much I love to put foreign objects in carpet. That sounds really... So that's what's going over here. So the cool thing is we've got this support beam that goes across to help support the wall. So I have these two that I can mount lights to, which will be nice. So I got some downfire lights. This area is not intended to be set up for filming. I mean, you could film out here, but the audio, as you can see, we're in a concrete warehouse. So it sounds terrible out here. Probably not as bad with these lav mics, but you can hear that. So not set up for talking. Here's some more of that fiberboard I talked about for the soundboard. We'll be building some soundboard panels that are designed to go into the front window of our main set room. To block out some of the street noise there. Although we can barely hear it, there's no reason to have just glass between us, so I'm gonna do that. Let's step into the lab. I hate calling it the lab because everyone has a lab now, but this is my lab. Feel how cold it is in here. I cranked these AC units right now. Dude. And this isn't even as cold, like the data room right there, that has its own, and this is hard to shut right now because it's all weather sealed, which I wanted. So it's all weather sealed. It's the carpet reducer isn't put on yet. We have to trim the door a little bit. It impacts it. So the reducer still has to be put on. But look how tight this seals. Are you ready? Look. Ugh.
Nice. It's like a fridge.
Let's keep the heat out there. Let's keep the lesser heat in here. Because remember, cold is heat. Okay, so this unit's on right now. It's set to 61 degrees. What I love about these, this one's not moving because I didn't tell it to yet, but those vents will kind of like, oh, these are doing it. Yeah, so it helps mix up the air. See, watch. See how they're moving? So what they're doing is they're blowing in all 4 directions. So it's a 360 blower, and it's kind of like mixing the air. Okay, so obviously this is the expansion. Yeah, this is the computer building lab right here. Testing lab where we'll be doing like all of our benchmarks and stuff here, workbench. I'm gonna have that U-shaped bench as I mentioned right here, where Phil can basically be in the middle of where I'm working. So he's more like a gun turret, and I'm working around the perimeter of the table so he can always get close to the action. Here is my water line right here. Boom, I showed you that. Access panel to get to the valves that are in there. Compressed air line. Oh, there's also a compressed air line above the dirty shop too. This is where our stainless steel sink is going. I'm getting a 72-inch stainless steel sink from Uline. So I had, obviously there's no carpet where the sink's gonna be. That way if anything drips or whatever, so we got LVT or laminate vinyl tile right here. And so this is now an area where if some water were to drip or a little drip formed here or something, it's not gonna moldy up the carpet. RTFM podcast room, I'm so excited for this. I actually ordered our podcast tables. So I told you that. It was so expensive, but it's a specifically built table that they're wedges. It's from a company called the Podcast Shop Table, or the podcasttableshop.com or whatever, not sponsored. I paid full price for these. They're mahogany wood, black legs and all that.
The room smells of rich mahogany.
I have no leather-bound books though. I have leather-bound digital copy.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, those are wedges. And because there's 3 of us, there'll be 3 wedges facing the camera. So no longer are we gonna be opposing with that weird side angle. So we're all 3 gonna be facing the camera and we can just turn and look at each other. And the cool thing about those is you buy them in sections. The minimum order is 2. You can go up to 9. 9 would make a full circle, but we just have 3. So my idea here, and we're gonna have to acoustic treat this room too, obviously. It's kind of a reverby mess. We 3 will be right here facing the camera that way. I might have the podcast computer in the room next to us, just to keep that noise away. I might not, I might just put it over there anyway. Maybe more in the middle of the room a little bit. Maybe a sort of a wide angle lens. I want to have a couple bookshelves back here. We're gonna have some of my favorite bourbons and scotches back here. I'm going for a more like rustic feel in this room. I might go with some wood tone, maybe some of the wood slats, but I feel like everyone's doing that now.
I mean, even in the webpage that you sent for the podcast table.
The podcast table, like all their pictures of customers, it's like wood slat wall, slat wall, slat wall, slat wall. I'm like, but the thing is, there's companies that make the wood slats with acoustic treatment backing. So it's like our acoustic panels, but with wood slats on them. I'm gonna go with what works. I don't care if it's a copycat or not. But anyway, so RTFM room. We'll talk about Nick's office in a second. I know that was such a huge thing for you guys. Nick, why don't you tell the internet, before we get to what our solution is, and turn the camera around and just speak to them about our discussions about your office and what your needs are.
I don't know, well, how do I explain it? I'm gonna be moving around a lot between like doing shipping and receiving, which is hopefully going to be handled in the back.
No, I think from now on, anytime someone comes that's not just like a small package, if it's like a big pallet type item, there ain't no small packages, the only average packages in this room. No, they need to come around to the loading dock.
Yeah, because we actually have a gate or lift, no, not lift gate. We have a door we can use now.
That's not like covered in storage bins.
Not like, hey, bring it into the entrance of the front room, leave the pallet there.
I don't want that wear and tear on the carpet in the front, to be honest. Like
well, that was hell for us, honestly, when we got like the big cases. It's like, just leave it in the front, I'll unload it later.
Now it can all go in the back door.
Yeah, well, we don't have a handicap ramp next to our entrance anymore, so it's easier. So we have to tell them like.
But that's the thing, we're right by the gate. So.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, but here's the thing. Do you, I've not asked you this, do you personally want a private office?
I haven't felt the need for it, to be honest, but I kind of feel the need to be out of everyone else's way because I'm moving around the most. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay. So regarding my office thing, this is all fairly new territory for all of us. I know, well, obviously Jay gets his office, Phil needs his own space for editing, so I'm kind of like floating. I'm very much gonna be running back and forth before as we're settling in, because I'm still going to be unpacking or reorganizing whatever or working on a different room at the time. But I feel the more we get settled in, the more we'll kind of narrow in a location. For now, it's set in the office with Phil. Totally cool with that. I probably won't be in there as much as all of us are thinking I will be, until we actually just start getting dialed in. Because I know at least first 2 weeks, I'm probably gonna be running up and downstairs more than anyone else. So my office for probably the first week will probably be in the warehouse. And then moving in, after we moved in, it'll probably be upstairs. But like I said, still a lot of moving parts we're all figuring out. But for now, just kind of think of it as I'm the midfielder. I'm gonna be running a soccer midfield. So I'm gonna be running back and forth, just covering wherever spot is needed. And I'm not totally like set in one spot. For now, it's just like a desk. It's a setup I could get emails handled or just like whatever needs to be done, but I have my own computer set up for it. In the future, like I said, we'll move it somewhere if it needs to be moved, if I'm in the way or anything. But as long as it works for everyone else, I'm okay with where it is. Please stop bothering my boss about it. It drove him nuts. It probably drove us nuts too, because it started just pouring into every other conversation. Like, you know, these guys are really concerned about where Nick is gonna get an office. Like, I don't know where I'm getting an office. If I have an office, cool. If I don't, I make an office. Like, I will be where I'm needed. So there's that.
I also want to state, this is the first private office I've ever had in my entire professional career. That includes when I worked in software development, and I was even a director of our IT and our automated testing suite. I've never had a private office. Now, it's not saying that means I get it and you don't. It's just we have limited room.
Yeah.
And so we do have a compromise. We'll talk about that when we get up there. Data room. So this has its own unit, and it is like a walk-in fridge in here.
Yeah, it's cold. Let's see.
So this is Nick's office. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, 61.
We already talked about the office stuff. But anyway, so what I talked about is I want this room to not just be our server room. Yes, we have this 2-post rack in here. I'm gonna take this 2-post out eventually. I'm probably just gonna roll our rolling one in here for now that has our server and everything on there. But I can't do noise normalization in here, obviously for case testing because of that noise. And the server UPS fan rattles, I need to replace that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here that can't be used. But what I can do is I can take the case, and as long as I use the same hardware and everything, like the same motherboard, same CPU, same cooler, same fans, same SSD, same power supply, as long as it's all the same hardware that's slated to be nothing but case testing hardware, I can take it out into the main room, shut off the HVAC unit, that is or the mini splits, that is a sound isolated room, so it's as close to as silent as I'm gonna be able to get. Noise normalize the system at 1 meter or whatever the proper measurement is for 40 dB or whatever that determined number is, that's like the industry standard. Get the configuration going properly out there, then I can move it in here, set the ambient temp to where I want it to be. As soon as the temperature is reached, then run our test. Then I can start doing actual comparison of case performance, which is something I have not been able to do because I haven't been able to control the environment. So I'm really happy about this right here. That's why I did this unit and removed this from the main HVAC unit. That way I can get this as its own environment. There is far more cooling coming out of that than this room needs, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the front room. So as you can see, the carpet now continues seamlessly into the rest of the space. I updated our thermostats. I love these Honeywell thermostats. They are not a sponsor, paid for all of this. Same exact one I have in our new unit across, like our new expansion at the other place. Web enabled, so I can control it from my phone. I can also set schedules and all that from my phone. If I ever leave and I'm like, damn, I forgot to turn off the AC, I can just log in and do it. But it has, like everything over there has a schedule. We rarely touch it. The only time we ever touch it is if we're trying to crank the temp to do testing and temperatures, but even on really hot days, that unit would still creep a few degrees up. The nice thing about, like I said, is our temperatures now stay locked to where I tell it to. We need to do some deep cleaning because construction literally just finished today.
Oh, we gotta find the panel for that bolt too.
No, that one was broken.
Oh.
I asked them like, why is that? So they need to replace that one. The edge broke off. I can take this tape off now. This is the door they kept locking themselves out of on accident, so they just taped the latch.
Can we leave the keeper on?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I can take off this tape and I gotta do some cleaning and stuff. This is, I'm not gonna go over all the tour again. This is the The testing room for like chairs and RGB lighting, keyboards, mice, maybe monitors, that sort of stuff will be there. Look, power for the TV that's gonna go here. So many people are like, why do you need, if you're not gonna have people coming over, why do you need like a reception area? It's for us, and I have people coming over all the time. And it like, for me, it boosts the legitimacy of our professional feeling when you come in and you're met with like a nice entryway. I already talked about, there'll be couch and tables and stuff. Phil has already made the 1 hour cut of his montages. There's just a 1 hour loop of his montages going. As we do more montages, we'll keep adding to it and bring it. I literally took an Intel like NUC PC that's gonna be attached to the back of the TV. So that's gonna be what's playing the loop, not the internal player on the TV. Gonna have like a credenza here that I'll have some of like the E1 build and some of the other stuff will be like on here. Probably a little like coffee bar, espresso machine, a little cooler for like drinks like water, juice, whatever, you know.
Burr.
Sure. Company sign's gonna go right here. I still have to talk to the company to make it. So that's gonna go there. And then this is the main talking set room, as we've already talked about, which will be dual purpose. Shoot this direction, maybe shoot that direction, maybe not. I think it'll always be this direction.
I feel like you could fit both, like have 2 sets in here and shoot either direction.
Potentially. I just don't want to make this room feel crammed because we still have to have lights and camera and all that stuff in here. Oh, yeah. And the furniture still. So once we push off the wall with the furniture, it's going to feel smaller. Window coverings haven't come yet. Window tint and stuff with UV rejection, that's all been installed. But I'm still waiting on our new window coverings. That's probably a week or so away. All right, stairs. I feel like I need to install a chairlift because fat. So Nick and Phil are going to share this office. I also went into the rafters myself and adjust the dampers to get a ton of AC flow into this room for 2 bodies and 2 PC setups. So the idea, Phil's gonna be here, offset left, facing the wall. Nick's gonna be here, offset left, facing the wall. His desk will kind of like push into this little cubby area. And then, I don't know, you guys can do a plant or something here if you want. A little table or something over there. Decorate this room how you want. No window, I don't want you seeing outside. I don't want you thinking about what life is like outside of work. No, I'm just kidding. The concrete wall actually makes this room the coolest room upstairs in terms of temperature wise. So you guys are gonna have a shared office here because Phil was like, I don't need my own office. Nick's not the one distracting him. I'm the one that's always like, Phil, check this out. Hey, Phil, look at this video. Hey, Phil, hey, Phil, hey, Phil. He's like,
just hide in the corner and like, okay, just do my work. Don't distract anyone.
And if you needed to take a phone call, you can just come to the conference room. Yeah. Right, if there's a private call you want to take. So conference room is nice. Got to get my 10-foot conference table. I need to get the TV mounted to the wall for casting, like beam casting, you know, stuff. We actually had a meeting in here today. Not Nick and Phil and I, but a brand came today and was talking with us, one of our sponsors, and we were like, come check out the new place. And we actually had a standing conference meeting in here, and it was nice, actually. It was a nice environment. The acoustics in here are actually really good. But it's nice to be able to look out the windows and have natural light and stuff. Windows are fully tinted now, which is nice. So there's that. All right, enough tour. You guys can see now, I did not leave it beige walls. They actually weren't beige, they were brown. It's just the camera color with the lighting was terrible. Every single light has been changed, as you can see. So what we need to do now is we need to test these data drops. I've already tested downstairs. Most of those are working. They're not all connected. There's like 10 Cat 5, and they're Cat 5, unfortunately. There's 10 Cat 5e that are just non-terminated, not going to the punch panel. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna take my tester. Nick and I are gonna get on like a FaceTime call or something, and he's gonna come around up here, plugging in the tester into each one. As I'm testing the corresponding number, they are labeled like, so voice 6, data 6. There is voice line for all of this too. Anyway, so we're gonna make sure these correspond with the punch panel properly. So let me go get the tester and let's do that. Back down the frickin' stairs we go. All right, so this little guy, just from Klein Tools, it would help to have a shorter cable for this, but whatever, I digress. So Nick's gonna plug this in on his end, and then I will literally be plugging in to the patch panel. This will tell me which pairs are good or bad, open, closed, and then it can even test individual pairs at a time. Okay, so this is I know you guys are he's filming me on FaceTime, but the audio is super clear. Anyway, so this is why it's important when you do your network mapping to properly map it. So I'm plugged into D11 on my end. On your end, it's what?
On my end, it's D9.
Yeah, see, it's D11 on this end, and if you look at my tester, you can see that the 7 and 8 pair, or the 7 and 8 wires are failed. So there's 2 wires on either this end or that end that are bad. This is the second one that we found where the punch down's bad. So fortunately, that's fine. That means it's plugged in on both ends properly. We can re-identify the circuit, or in this case, the RJ45 jack, relabel it on the other end to match where the punch panel is, and then I can just re-punch it down on both ends. That's fine. So we're keeping a notepad of what is right and what is wrong, unfortunately. So if I had done it over again, if I had time, I might have just done a full rewire, but because we don't have anything past 1 gig on our internet, and we still get like 8 gigs over our Cat5e 350 megahertz line, these are only like 200 feet long, it's fine for our use case, but not ideal. So anyway, we'll keep going with this, and then we'll I guess wrap up the video. But this tool, this client tool, I think I paid like 30 or 40 bucks for it on Amazon. Totally worth it when it comes to checking pairings on both ends. Okay, so obviously the ones that are not showing up are gonna be one of these. Why these were ever taken out, I don't know. So what I'm gonna have to do to identify it, it sort of sucks. Well, maybe not. I mean, it would just end up being a really, it just wouldn't make any sense. Whatever, stay. I could identify them by taking time to do punches, like punch down plugs, just like what goes in the wall, a little square, on each one of these to identify it, just to undo it to punch it down again. Or I could honestly just go ahead and punch down all of these on the punch panel up there, and then identify them again and label them as such. It may not be in order, but as it is upstairs, it's not in order anyway. It goes like D5, D16, D13, it's just like not even in order. So I think the best plan of attack here, and I feel like there's more here than what wasn't identified.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing. So anyway, like I said, this would have been a nice time to have redone all of this, but we started construction so fast. Anyway, this isn't a huge deal. Like I said, these are the wires I ran.
Oh yeah, we did those.
Cat 6. So going to the shop, but it doesn't matter. It's still coming to, I mean, whatever. So it's not ideal. There are companies that are experts at pulling wire through existing construction like this, and they could get the job done. It's just exponentially more expensive if they're not working with a free, open construction. That's obviously the right time to do it, but that's it for today. I got some work to do here. I actually enjoy this kind of stuff. I had fun at the last place doing it, but okay, that's it. Thanks for hanging out today. We're gonna start next week moving stuff in. We actually already have started moving stuff, but we're gonna... The big move part. This is like the pre-warm I feel like this was the easy part. What I mean by that is now we have to get this all configured and ready to work while still running a YouTube channel to making content in the meantime that isn't just here's 72 moving vlogs.
Yeah. I mean, what if we vlogged it while making a video? So you gotta like get a twofer.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I have to balance how many of those videos we make, right? All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the way it's turning out. If not, well, you can pay for it next time.
Yeah.
Wait, they're gonna say they already did.
Well, I don't want to see any more comments about my office. My office will be my office.
Are you happy? Are you okay with sharing that office with Phil?
Yeah, I'm totally
Phil's
fine.
perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm personally having a private office is I'm having way more meetings these days.
Yeah, I totally get it, but my concern was I was in the way. So if Phil's cool with it, then I'm cool with it.
Phil doesn't feel like you're in the way. He feels like I'm in the way.